Hello and welcome, fellow adventurers, to Edutalks Canada. I'm thrilled to embark on this journey with you. Whether you're a student exploring the world of higher education, an educator shaping the minds of tomorrow, or simply someone curious about the diverse experiences within university campuses, you've come to the right place. In this podcast series, we'll be your guides as we venture beyond borders and dive deep into the vibrant tapestry of campus life. From navigating cultural nuances and embracing diversity to celebrating academic achievements and sharing inspiring stories, Edutalks Canada is your passport to a global learning experience.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Edutalks Canada podcast. This podcast is more focused on interacting with people involved in international education in Canada, including sometimes students or ex-students, and that brings me to our guest for this week. His name is Deval Soni, and he has been studying in Canada before. He's a graduated student from the Theatre Arts and Performance program from Centennial College in Toronto, and drum roll, he's our very first celebrity guest on this podcast. Deval, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for that lovely drum roll that you gave. I'm glad that I'm here on the podcast.
Thank you for your time. I know we have been going a bit back and forth. Deval is currently in India, and the reason I mentioned that he's our first celebrity guest is because he's on a Netflix show in India. Deval, tell us more about that. I'm sure that's the most exciting thing for a lot of listeners who may be interested in a similar program and might think, oh wow, maybe I could get on Netflix as well. How did that happen? Tell us that journey.
Yes, so that is the most exciting part that's happening in my life right now. I just finished shooting for it like day before yesterday.
Oh, wow.
So let's go back like a few months ago. I graduated and then I was scrolling on my Instagram and I come across this film residency called Cinema da Mare, and where you travel with international filmmakers and make films. So I applied and I gave an interview. I cleared one round, two rounds, and bam, I was in Italy making films with all the international artists, and I did that for 2 months. And I didn't know that the people that I'm meeting are already working professionals. So cut to a few months later, I come to India and I made a friend in that Italian film residency who was from India and who used to work in the same Indian film industry. So I reached out to him and I was like, hey, I'm in India. I am finding work and I want to audition. So is there anything that I can, be a part of? And he's like, you are at the perfect time and we are working on a project. And here's the details. So he sent me the casting call. I applied for the audition and then bam, I got the part. And now I just finished shooting about it. So it's
amazing. I know.
It's the right time, right place.
That's so weird, right? Like that's a lot of work in that particular industry, I think, is right place, right time, which kind of takes me back a good 15, 20 years maybe, where unfortunately I was a pre-YouTube generation, so to speak. So I kind of missed out on an opportunity because I did have a very short-lived career composing music for ads and documentaries and things like that. And of course, podcast productions back in 2006 until I kind of reignited my passion for audio and started this project. So I was... Right. Yeah, I was pre-YouTube and I really didn't get into that. And I know a lot of artists came through YouTube, and you do have a YouTube channel as well. What's it called?
Yeah, so my YouTube channel is called Dramatic Jukebox, and I usually create content about travel, food, and a lot of art-related videos where I write poems and recite it to them, voiceover videos, and make relevant acting sketches.
Amazing. And yes, I am following you, and I even for our listeners, I'll post it in the description so you can like, share, subscribe Deval's YouTube channel. And of course, what's the name of the show that you're going to be on? Like you didn't mention that.
Yes, so the Netflix show that I am going to be is called Mismatched, and season 1 and 2 is already out, and I'm working in the season 3. So yes, go check it out. It
Yeah,
will be releasing in by
when
the
is
end
it
of
releasing?
this
Sorry,
year,
end of this
October
year. Okay.
2024-ish. Yes,
Okay, great. So it's in post production now.
yes, it will be in post
Perfect.
production
Yeah.
soon.
I was very excited to hear about it because as soon as you told me about it, and this was early January, I think it was, we were just exchanging New Year greetings, and I was like, "Oh, what are you up to?"
Yes.
And you
Hmm.
said, "Oh, I got this show on Netflix," and I was like, I immediately went and checked. Oh, I was like, "Oh, damn it, they haven't updated the cast list yet," because I was so excited to like just broadcast it to all of our team members at the college that we are
Yes.
working, and and
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
"Hey, the student got a Netflix show," and that's amazing. Um, and yes, we also briefly talked about your experience in Italy, or you introduced us with your experience in Italy. So, how long was that residency in Italy you mentioned?
So the residency is like 3 months, but
Hmm.
you can opt to do it for like either 3 weeks. 3 weeks is the minimum. I did it
Hmm.
for 2 months. So every week you just go to a new city, and people keeps shuffling. So people leave
Hmm.
and new people come. So it's like a mix and match
Oh,
of all the
and
international artists.
what exactly are you? Do you get to do, like, is it an internship? I mean, I'm sure a residency is an internship, right? But is it just running around getting coffee, or is there something more serious that you can be expected to do?
So I mean, it's not like an internship. It's way more than that
Okay.
because
Okay.
yeah, it's way more than that because I went there as an actor. So I
Hmm.
was like acting almost like 5 films a week, and
Oh,
we had
wow.
a choice. Yes, so we had a choice to pick like two roles. One is a primary role, which was I picked as an actor, and the secondary role I picked was a director. So I directed my first short film there, and
What?
it was in it. Yeah, so it was in Italian, and that brings me to one more point, that under Dramatic Jukebox, the YouTube channel that I mentioned, we also
Uh-huh.
produce short films and vlogs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm slowly
Wow.
getting into film productions and web series and storytelling and all that kind of stuff.
Wow, that's amazing. So, wait a minute. So, if this residency allows you to, like, is would it be something that you can share with listeners who may be interested in theater arts and performance on how can they manage to secure a spot on such a residency, and are there other residencies such as this around the world that they can do, and what does it mean in terms of revenue? Are you getting paid? Because I'm sure a lot of students, and again, it's the whole starving artist kind of picture that we have
Mm,
about an artist. Until you make it
yeah.
big, you're kind of trying to just get gigs where you can get paid, right? So can
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
can you tell our listeners a little bit about that?
Sure. I mean, so it was a fully interview-based process, and what they provide is they provide you like accommodation and internal travel into Italy. So, however, the months you are like for 3 months, they provide the internal travel. They have a huge coach, Volvo
Mm-hmm.
coach that you go in and travel in, and then you get like camping stuff like air mattresses, sleeping bags, and all that kind of stuff, and
Oh,
you are
wow.
being provided with big halls and auditoriums where you have to like just go around and find your space and just put your air mattresses. So it's like a very backpackish kind of travel trip, and you just have to pay for your food and flight to and fro, which is basically
Mm.
like 50% of the expenses covered, because Italy is expensive if you are like
Mm-hmm.
converting money. So euros are expensive, and to even if you get like they can cover 50%, it's worthwhile. And what I would say is the point that you mentioned, that a lot of recent graduates are willing to find a find paid gigs and especially artists. But I would say
Mm-hmm.
that the sole purpose of my visit and to do this residency was to get a portfolio of work.
Yeah.
Because as a beginner, you don't have a lot of chances where people are like, no, we don't need freshers, we need experienced people. So and being staying in a one place confines you and does not give you more opportunities, whereas in two
Mm-hmm.
months I worked in over like 15-20 short films, and I have portfolio as a director, writer, producer, and actor, which
Mm.
allows me to like go out in the world and say that, hey, I have this thing under my
Yeah.
portfolio, and now you hire me on based of the work that I did.
Yeah, and that's that's actually, that's very critical and very important information, especially for young listeners who may be considering a career path in the arts or performance space. Building up those credentials really make a huge difference if you're going back to your home country and you want to kind of build up a career in the art space over there. So that's really amazing. um, just moving forward a little bit, or moving across timelines, what
Mhm.
can you tell us a little bit about your interest? Were you always interested in arts and performance?
So I'm a Aries, and that depicts that I am a very extrovert person. So since I was a kid, like I was being put on spot in an Indian family household that, hey,
Hmm.
dance, you can sing, so go. Whenever there's a family event, I was being put on spot that, hey, you can show what moves you got, what song were you singing the other day. So during all of that things, I started with music, and over the years I moved on slowly to going on doing set sound design for short films and all that kind of stuff. And slowly I came across, so I was a huge fan of seeing movie making, like a behind the scenes of movies. And I don't know from where, so all of these things, music, and then seeing the movie making, and like expressiveness, being an extrovert, and all these things just came together. And then I wanted to pursue a career into travel, being a travel presenter and a sports presenter. So then I was trying to find courses for that, and it somehow landed me up to direction and being an actor and being a performer, basically performing artist. Because a lot of people that I followed and inspired from, they chose the same path. So I was like, okay, why not be a performer? Because I was not that strong in academics, so I gave up on doing journalism and mass media com.
Yeah.
So I chose theater.
Yeah.
Um, and
And I think
then
that was
I
a
have,
wise choice.
yes, definitely, definitely. There was a very wise choice, and I didn't know that I would be here one day talking to you about my Netflix projects, and
No, but I
yeah,
should
yeah,
thank
yeah.
you, because, like I said earlier in the at the beginning of the of this podcast, I said we have our first celebrity. I know my colleagues will feel bad. They'll say, "Hey, we are all celebrities," but just as it's very kind of you to join the space and kind of let us give us a perspective as an ex-student, because you are our first ex-international student, I should say, in
Right.
that sense, who have completed a program and kind of gained or starting to gain success in the field that you have selected to study. So I really wanted to highlight the positivity of your journey so far, and I'm sure you've had your hurdles as well, and that's something that we would like to explore as well. What are some of the
Mm-hmm.
hurdles you faced in your journey as an international student, or your journey coming from India to Canada and studying in Canada and things like that? Give our listeners a breakdown of your experiences, positive, negative, whatever it is, right?
Right. So it was my first time moving out of my house and the comfort zone that I had. I did not go to any other city in India as well. So I directly chose to move international, which was a very courageous move and big move. that came out of like willingness to just leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
uh, when I wanted to like pursue a few things or few courses in India, but then the expenses were equivalent to the expenses that I would do in as an international student. So like my parents were
Oh,
a little bit uh,
that's okay. I just need to pick that point. Why
yeah.
is that? Why is it the particular program like the theater arts? Is that as expensive in India as in Canada? Because that was not my perception. I would think, a lot of people want to move abroad for the quality of education or maybe for immigration purposes and things like that. So that's a very interesting point. How is it? How is it equivalent in terms of cost?
So in compared to the costing, I wanted to go to a film school, and it was a very renowned film school in India, in Mumbai. And the tuition for that was equivalent to the tuition of an international education. I could definitely get a regular, like a university degree in theater and performing arts, which I did actually.
Hmm.
Before pursuing my postgraduate in Canada, I did a bachelor's in performing arts, which
Oh,
was
okay.
not that expensive. But then I wanted to go, like a deeper and go to a very, very well renowned college, which
Hmm.
was a little expensive. So then I chose to just and then there was also an international exposure that I wanted to
Yeah.
do, um, and get something that's out
Yeah.
of
No, I
my
understand.
yeah.
Moving abroad or studying abroad, facing the difficulties, the daily challenges, or the daily grind of being in a
Yes.
place that's unknown to you. You don't have friends.
Hmm.
And I'm sure in India, a lot of people, I mean, of course, a lot of listeners who are from India will know this, but let's say we have a lot of listeners who are non-Indian might not realize that there is
Right.
a lot of people in India can afford help in the house, whether
Yes,
it's with
definitely.
cleaning or laundry and things like that. And then all of a sudden you come here and you're like, oh, I need to do. And a lot of students may not have done laundry by themselves ever, right? Or they've
Yeah,
never
yeah,
cleaned a house
definitely.
and they don't know what to do and they have to learn everything. And thankfully for YouTube, you can actually uh, learn a lot of things. That's why I keep saying, I'm a
Yes.
very pre-YouTube generation, though even yes, I do watch YouTube, but we had to
Yes,
figure
yes,
things
yes.
out for ourselves without the aid of YouTube, which I should say may have helped someone like me because uh, when when you have to seek out information when there is no Instagram or social media or YouTube, it's
Hmm.
actually kind of easier because you don't have the flood of information, I should say, that's out there,
Yes,
which kind of
that's
confuses you
correct.
and
That's correct.
actually what's correct, what's incorrect. Which brings me to the next point. Out of all the places in the world, you
Hmm.
chose Canada, and out of all the places in Canada, you chose Centennial College,
Right,
and the particular theater arts performance program. Is
right.
there anything particular in this program that is not offered somewhere else, or is it just I'm going to apply to a bunch of places, and whoever is interested in me? Is that what happened? Like,
Well, I was going to come to these points, and you got it up at the perfect time. So, yes, it was a huge roller coaster for me to like get into program. So I'll start with the country, like why I chose
Mhm.
Canada. So I had a bunch of options. Of course, I wanted to pursue theater in Europe because Europe is
Mm.
huge in theater. But then again, the economy of Europe was not very supportive at that time,
Mm.
and the expenses were very harsh.
Mhm.
After that, my second option was US because like US is the go-to place for immigrants, of course.
Yeah.
And again, US was very expensive. The film schools and all the big names that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So then I gave up on that, and the next thing that was available during the time that I was migrating was Canada. Canada was very welcoming to new immigrants and students and all that, and Canada was very closer to the US. And I read about it that a lot of US films, American films, are being shot in Canada, and
Yes.
like a lot of work is happening in Canada. So I was like, okay, you know what, it's a good country. Let's go out. It's something different. Let's
Yeah.
try it out. So that's why I chose Canada. And about selecting a program, it was very interesting because so my father had a inclination towards me picking a very technical course. Even when he was supportive in letting me pursue arts. But since he's into a technical business as well of making home theaters, and he designs
Oh, wow.
studios, multiplexes, and all that kind of stuff. So he advised me to take a technical course that he was like, okay, you know what, with technical expertise, you cannot run out of work ever.
True.
Yes. So, but that was not my perspective and ideology that I had. I was always very creative and opposite of what he believed.
Yeah, but I'm sure your dad is just, obviously, as any good dad, is looking out for you, because in case you don't get acting work, hey, I can, you can still make home theaters or you can
Yes,
still be
definitely.
a consultant for home theater.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's nothing wrong on his part.
Yeah.
But like as a growing up kid, you always want to do and believe what your beliefs are, like
Oh,
what your
absolutely.
belief system
Yeah.
is, right? And if you are very confident about it, you can go pursue it. So that's what I did. I applied to a bunch of courses. So I applied to a filmmaking course, which is technical in his eyes. And I applied to National Theatre School of Canada in Montreal,
Oh, wow.
which is the best theatre school, I would say, in terms of theatre. It's like a very huge, but they only
Absolutely.
accept like 9 students globally, which is the competition is very tight.
Wow.
So I applied to a production program there and an acting program, and then I applied to Centennial's theatre program, which covered both acting and theatre making and all the producing and all that kind of stuff. So starting with the filmmaking course, as soon as I applied, I got the offer letter from there in 15 days. But the timing of the tuition fees was very quick. They told me to pay the fees in like 10 days, and I told my dad, and it was not reasonable. It was not like feasible to do that. So we
Yeah.
canceled that out. And then NTS, I didn't get through in acting. I got through 2 rounds in production. And then I didn't get selected in the next round. See, the only option that I had was Centennial. And I wasn't sure what the college is because, like, not to talk bad about my college, but Centennial had a very unique impression in terms of international students and its
I
services.
see. What
Yes,
is that
so-
unique impression? Now, I know you don't. I know you put it in a very. You may have put it in a very diplomatic sense, but it's okay. Like I tell every listener, for everyone, it's a different perspective. Now, when I'm talking to you, your journey is completely different from someone who might be doing a cybersecurity program, for instance, right?
Right.
So
right,
all
right,
of our
right, correct.
lives are so different. We take on our own path, our own journey, and sometimes we have positive experience, but that's life. You have both positive and negative experiences, and that's something you can learn from and use to grow your character, your personality, etc. So I tell this to students. So be frank. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
we don't. We are very early into this podcast, so maybe by the time
Right,
it's
right.
year 3, we have a large listener base and nobody is interested in the first episode. But maybe by that time, by year 3, you are a huge star in the Indian film industry or globally. Let's not
Yeah.
close any doors. And people,
Yes.
your episode might be the most listened to. So I'm just banking on that. If you don't mind me.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So, unique as I mean, I meant that like as people had perspective who studied there, or who centennials were very famous in international students. So a lot of people used to say that the business program is like overcrowded with Indians, and they do not focus on students that well. Then their like communication system with international students, and they don't communicate properly when we ask some questions, like in terms of before getting admitted into the program. And it was like, since it was an overpopulated program and a college with international, especially Indian students, a lot of reviews were like worrisome about the quality of education that students would get.
Yeah.
So I read all of that online, and I was like, I'm not really sure how this course will turn out to be. But I wanted to pursue acting, and this was the only program that, like had all of those acting majors that I wanted to do, and
Yeah.
few of the minor subjects that my father thought that it's technical subjects.
Yeah.
So then I took a leap, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go and apply. And eventually, there's an interesting story behind that also. I got 2 offer letters for the same program by 2 different people,
They didn't talk to
which was
each other.
also, yeah, well, yeah, something might have happened, but like I was supposed to go into that program. And then I started taking classes in Centennial into that program, and I got to know that
Yeah.
it is the best program that I could have been into. Like I'm at the
Yeah.
right place. The professors were really on point. It was the best program I could have taken.
Yeah, I have heard from some other students about the particular program, like the theater art, and the professors that are teaching. I've heard some really good stories, and I've also heard from academic advisors in that program about students or ex-students that they saw performing live on stage in Toronto.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
hopefully there is some success stories. Of course, like any other industry, I think more so in the artistic industry, it's very difficult, and to gauge success is also difficult because success means different things to different people. So
Yeah, definitely.
do you think completing this particular program, and this is a general question for listeners who are interested in this program, would again, difficult to say, I know, considering
Right.
everyone's journey is different. Do you think this particular program is something that you would let listeners know, yes, you may pursue this, but you need to look out for XYZ or ABC? What's your take on the program, like upon completion, right?
Right. Well, I would say that my journey of success has a reason of like culmination of the training and the time that I've put behind it, because I also have some experience and training in India also. Before that, I did a
Yeah.
3-year full on bachelor program in performing arts.
Mhm.
And a lot of, alongside with taking the bachelor's, I have done so many workshops of here and there, training on my music skills, on my
Yes.
physical body, physical movements, and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
So I think it is a culmination of the whole entire process.
Yeah.
But I would say the program Whole Soul Leaf, I talk about it. It's a very in-depth program. It's a 3-year program, and it progresses every year into subjects that you learn. It focuses majorly on acting and producing, entrepreneurship, which as an artist is very important to know, because
Yeah.
a lot of times artists are like, it's less money in theater, we don't earn money. But it's not like that. You have to be strategically business oriented about the field that you are in. And if you're an
Absolutely.
artist, you have to be a entrepreneur, you know.
No,
Yeah,
and
so
that's a very great point, because and this again, it's not just for artists as well. I think a lot of students who do come, I and perhaps we can do more as well in terms of financial literacy as well, to kind of let students know, yes, we do live unfortunately in a in a society where we need money and stuff like that. But like I said earlier, the gauge for success is different. For each one of us, success means a different thing. But this is a
Right.
very important point for people in the arts field, because artists sometimes may generally be so heavily involved and don't want any other thing to kind of disturb their artistic mind, that sometimes money is not in the forefront of things, right?
Right.
What would be your advice for students? Now, the reason I'm asking you this is because you do have a business background. Now, yes, because your dad is into, he's an entrepreneur. He
Right.
consults about fixing up home theaters. And so you do have a business background, or you have that familial knowledge growing up and seeing, okay, if nothing else works, I know I can get my bread and butter doing this. So
Right.
what's your take for, I mean, how would you, in your limited time, as an artisan, your journey, you're still young, but I would like that young perspective of, for someone following you from another country trying to do this program, what would you let them know in terms of, okay, how do you make money in this industry, right? Just to put it in
Well,
very lay terms.
yeah. It's a very good question, first of all, that a lot of artists, when they start out, they are just blindly passionate about the creative stuff, which is not wrong. I was like that as well.
Absolutely.
Over the years, I've gained a little bit of more visibility towards the business side of it, which is important because the economy and the capitalist nature that we live in,
Absolutely.
it forces us to earn money and bread and butter. And coming from a business family, I didn't want to pursue or carry forward my dad's business, and that's what made me, like, motivated me to make money out of art. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that hey, I don't want to go back to where I come from, my comfort zone, and like, I can definitely join my dad's business and make money and all that stuff, but I want to do something of my own and also make money in that. So
Yeah.
what I think is, as an artist, you have to find your creative pursuit first of all, be passionate about it, and once you have that creative pursuit, start on the side, start just like, either having a separate field that pays all your
Yeah.
bills,
Yeah.
or just initiate some tips and tricks which can help you sell your art.
Yeah.
For example, if you are a painter, right? So you just learn how to run an exhibition, how to sell your paintings online, how to cater to customized paintings,
Yeah.
and not just paint what you want, because you have to find a commercial balance with your art. Otherwise it would be a little difficult to like, strive for a little longer period of time, because
Absolutely.
as an artist, it's not difficult to find work. Like, you can be a working artist, but to make
Yeah.
it big, it will take time.
Yeah.
It will take time to be the one.
Yeah. And I think making it big in terms of, again, perception, right? Like making it big. Okay, I'm a star worldwide. Everyone knows me, etc. Versus being, like you said, a working artist and having that kind of 9 to 5. Of course, it's not 9 to 5. Sometimes artists work like
Yeah.
12, 14, 16 hours, especially if they're doing a TV show or something like that. They're acting,
Right.
right? It's
Right.
long hours of the day, but you get steady work, your bills are paid, you're able to support your family. And I think that's just the perception, right? Like, do you want to be a working artist with everyday work every day, or big star? What's the difference between the two? What would you say is the difference? Because in my
So
head, it's kind
so
of clear, because a star, A global star. For example, you have work when you have work, but you never
Right.
know when that star fades, right? Would
Yes,
you?
definitely.
So I would say
So
I would rather be a working artist, right?
yes, yes. So snowballing on that, I would say that you be a working artist and then
Hmm.
you wait. So you have a stuff. So which pays your bill. You have a
Hmm.
working artist portfolio which like pays your bill, and then as if you make something big out of a project, for example, your one of your painting or one of your project makes you good amount of money, save that, save a chunk of that big amount of money that you get and start like investing it somewhere, so that when you don't have work,
Hmm.
then you don't have to like stay with just one time on a one meal a day.
Yeah, yeah,
So you have to be strategic about that as well, because you are not going to find work all the time, and if you are
yeah.
finding work all the time, you
That's
you
good.
have to be strategic in saving your money, that you don't have to spend all of your spendings, that thinking that, oh, I'm a successful star now and this is going to last. No, it's not going to last. The money is not going to last. So you have to save a chunk. You have to keep living on the way of lifestyle that you were, and just
Yeah.
save the rest and invest the rest and make more money, so that you can strive longer. It's not a 1 day or a 1 year process. It's a entire life process of an artist.
So you may, on top of acting, directing, screenplay, etc., you may just be also an investment manager for a lot of artists in the future, right? Once you get the experience,
uh,
I guess, right?
well, yeah, why not? Well,
Why
I'm
not?
not sure about managing other people's investment, but my investment, yes, for sure, I would
No,
definitely do
that's
that.
just, that's just having a go at you. So don't worry. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
so coming back to students interested in studying in Canada, and we spoke a bit about the program and how it helped you or why this particular program was important to you. When a student is coming to Canada for any program, what's your what's your advice to students when they're in the program? Like, what should they what should they do as an international student to be successful? What's your take on it?
So I really think that exposing yourself in your college and your
Mm-hmm.
program is really important. By
Mm-hmm.
saying that, I mean that if there are any cultural events, go
Mm-hmm.
participate, go perform.
Mm-hmm.
If there's any open call of that, hey, we need artists, even if it's like a volunteer position,
Yeah,
go showcase yourself. And networking plays a really big role, because
absolutely.
nowadays, and in any field, I mean, networking is very important, and especially in the field of arts, it's very important, because your network is your net worth, right? It's a very famous saying. People have been using it for so
I
long.
haven't heard that in a while, and I'm really glad that you're young and that phrase is still around.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, my father has been saying it since so many years, and I've kept it in my head. So that's why. So yeah, getting back to exposing yourself in these kind of festivals, and I'll give you a short example that
Sure.
when I was studying, uh, I was creating content. I have a YouTube channel, so I was creating
Yep.
content, and my college's student association has
Mm-hmm.
openings of social media content creators and like hosts and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
So they reached out to me and saying that, hey, we have a position. Would you like to apply? So I applied, and then I started working as a social media content creator. And after
Wow.
through that, I started hosting their interviews and all that kind of stuff. So I got a little visibility in the college, students starting to know me. I was hosting events. So all of that things gave me more visibility in the college itself. And
Mm.
then someone from the marketing team reached out to me saying that, hey, we have a commercial about Centennial. And then I signed up a commercial, which led me to having my posters all around the campus on
Yeah.
elevators and magazine
And
covers.
we still
So,
see it, by
like,
the way.
yes. So one, and I tell you, they're going to use it for 7, 8 years more.
Oh, wow. Yeah, good for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
So
Good for me. Yes.
at some point when you're a huge star, you'll be like, "Hey, I need I need royalty for this, right?" You're going
Yes.
to.
So that's going to be my passive income when I make it big. So
Yeah,
saying that,
yeah,
yeah, one thing leads to another, and your network and visibility and all those things. So always, always, always try to get any opportunity that you have, even if it's for volunteer, and do not fear from experimenting and going out, exposing yourself in any art form. Even if you don't know that art form, I would say just give a take at it.
give it a go, right? Yeah, very. Thank you for that. Very insightful advice. I know every institutions in Canada try to do the best for their students in terms of services. What are the different services in the college that you have approached, used, and you were happy saying, okay, this kind of worked out for me. The service was good. And I know everyone's experience will be different. Some people will say, oh no, that service
Yeah,
was
yeah.
really bad for me.
Right.
It didn't work out. But I know people working in the institutions are always trying to do the best. Sometimes, things don't work out the way
Right.
they try to do the best in whatever capacity they can do, because some situations are sometimes just so bleak that nothing else can be done, right? So, but what are the kind of services you used at Centennial?
Well, to be honest, with my program, the program was very new and fresh. It just started. So I was in back in 2019. I was a second or third cohort, I believe,
Oh
of the
wow,
program. So it was
okay.
very fresh. So we did not have a dedicated like a theater proscenium stage until what the last semester that I graduated.
Oh, the
So it
Performing
was
Arts Center, I guess, right?
yes, the Performing
Yeah.
Arts Center, and we all were like vouching for it since so many years, and eventually it came to life after like 3-4 years, which I don't blame the college, but then again, it comes to the right time and right place. And during that time, the
Exactly.
course was
Yeah.
new and everything, and the college had limited services. But on the contrary, when I joined the student association as their employee, I got to know so many things, that we have so many services available to students,
Yeah.
which we never knew that we could use, and like make the best out of it. We had sports, we had free food banks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We had mental health, the therapists and
Absolutely.
therapies,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff we never knew before I joined the student association, and we all pay for that stuff.
Exactly. And the gym.
And the gym, yes, definitely the gym.
You pay for the
And
gym.
yeah, and the gym, and we have like different 4 campuses. I mean, you can, if you are not near to one of the campuses, you can always go to the one that's near you. So I'm pretty sure that like
Now, why is it that until you joined the Student Federation, you did not know about these services? Is it because we have orientation services, we have outreach, and again, I should tell you, international students or any student in a college, it's quite a very the programs are very comprehensive, and it takes a lot out of students, because let's say you have 5 or 6 subjects a semester. It's you have assignments after assignments after exams after assignments, and the list just goes on. There is probably information overload. Now I know the colleges have webinars, they have outreach, they have everything. Is it because of information overload that, oh, you know what, I'm not going to check my email for this, I don't even know what this is? What would you say, how would an institution like Centennial improve upon that?
Very like, again, case specific I'll talk, because our program was completely into a different, like, we didn't have a campus, so we were renting a separate space in Regent Park. So we were completely cut off from the communication services and like the physical services, that the events that were held in either Progress campus or the Story Arts campus. So
Got
we were
it.
not even going to Story Arts campus even for a day, for like almost two years and four
Wow.
semesters. And even like I was, when I became the vice president of the same student association, I
Yeah.
vouched that there should be events dedicatedly in Performing Arts Center. And this year I just recently saw a post like last month that they have started to have events in Performing Arts Center, which makes me really happy, because now the students will be aware of the CCSAR services and all the things that they have on their board, and not just studying. Also, on adding on to that, the curriculum was very demanding, because I
Yeah.
had classes Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 every day, and
Mm-hmm.
we could not skip any of the classes, because if we do, we'd not be able to catch up, because it was not notes oriented. It
Yeah.
was all practical. So it's also like case specific, I would say, due to which I missed out on a lot of stuff.
Now, is like outreach. What would your advice be to colleges who want, uh, greater exposure for the services that are offered, and greater exposure to students, to have students understand that these services are available, and to avail of them, because you pay the fees for them, or you pay for them, right? What can colleges do to gain greater exposure among students? Is it through Instagram? Is it through YouTube? Because maybe our emails don't reach or are not read, let's say, because there's so
Yeah.
many emails that you guys get, right? So
Well,
yeah, what would you say, how to improve?
Well, you know what? Like email, I feel that since you said that there's an overflood of emails, so definitely I would not open each and every email when
Yeah.
I'm like busy with stuff, you know. And nowadays the lifestyle is very fast, so people like young people and students would definitely prefer to use social media. And nowadays all of the colleges are very trying to be very active and engaging on social media, so that's a very good point, and they are also getting a lot of exposure through that. But I think that still, if we can cater more to like the specific requirements, for example, you know, like if there's a theater arts program, there should be an event especially catering for the specific theater people, and that
Got
would
it.
that would not just focus on a general vague audience, but focus on a bunch of people which are passionate about theater. They would come and use those services, like use an auditorium and put up a
Yeah.
play, put up a festival. You know, there are so many possibilities which can be done if we focus on just, you know, like programs as the
Yeah,
specific
and
catering.
I think there might be student dramatic clubs as well, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there were, but you know, like over the time,
Over time it will
it
improve, and yeah, I guess so,
yes,
right?
over
Yeah.
time it will improve, and as the students graduate, the club diminishes, it dies out, you know.
Yeah. 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 There's
Yeah,
no
so
one kind of taking it forward and building upon the success of the previous cohort. And
yes,
yeah,
yes,
okay. Yeah,
yes,
that's a
yes.
good point, actually. And I hope, I know I'm going to share it with our advisors as well. And they're
Yeah,
going to say,
definitely. and
yeah,
and just
big. Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
sorry. So just as like right now we had clubs and all the club representatives, but I think that the student led clubs are dying out after they graduate. But what we can do is either we can have a person who is above the student club advocate, you know, like the person who is just advocate for that whole theater club department, who is hired by the college to look out for that it doesn't die out, you know,
So
just to
maybe,
continue stuff.
yeah, so maybe having either faculty or advisors as kind of um as kind of the people who keep the flame going, and who kind of get new students involved into
Yes, that
clubs,
is
so
correct.
that the next cohort can build upon what was done by the previous cohort, and kind of build on let's say, dramatic theater shows that were done by previous and make it better.
Definitely.
Okay,
Definitely,
that's great
definitely.
advice. Thank you. And would you say you were able to access others? I know because you were on a campus that's now there is the Performing Arts Center, but I believe we met at the main campus. We met at the Progress campus, and I was
Yes.
quite I was quite glad to see you in the sense that I'm like, okay, people from other campuses are coming over to see us, right? But was that I know that it's quite a journey, right? You have to take transit, and unless you're driving, and I know a lot of students don't drive.
Yeah. It was quite a journey to get to Progress campus, because so again, case specific, in our program we did not have anyone to reach out in the place that we were there practicing. So we had to, so our, on paper, all of our students were registered on Story Arts, but we never went there. So for any solution purposes, either we have to go to Story Arts or go to Progress campus.
Okay. Anyways, I know we spoke a lot about the services, and I really thank you for that insight, because this, it's feedback that helps improve different colleges on their services. And of course, we are specifically talking about one particular institution, but I'm sure colleagues from other institution can listen to it and also learn from it.
Surely.
Is there any other final words for students or international listeners who are interested in studying in Canada for this specific program? Just to recap anything, is there any final thoughts about that before we head into talking about your Netflix special? Because that's the highlight. See, I kept the highlight for last because that's how I eat my food too. I always keep the best for last. So
you know how the marketing of the content works these days. So you're on the right track.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm glad you said that, because you're the expert over here.
Yes, definitely. So to sum up my words, I would say that it really depends on where you study and what your experience is. And I strongly believe that experiences are the most valuable thing that you can get into early age. Even if you are not making that much money, if you're just surviving on basic things, I think that's perfectly all right.
Yeah.
And to be confused, to be in a very weird state of discomfort is also perfectly all right. And everyone has to go through that state to just improve themselves and learn new skills. And being an artist, I would say that never stop dreaming. And there's a difference between walking behind your dreams and chasing your dreams. So I would say to chase your dreams, you have to strategically work behind it. And I don't believe in luck. I think that you can plan your luck by exposing yourself to different opportunities and different people. And when the opportunity strikes, you have to be so experienced and so learned and better at your craft that you just go there, give your best, and then just the loop just keeps on repeating itself.
Thank you. That's amazing. How old are you again? You don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer that.
I was saying that I'm 100 years old with my wise knowledge that I have.
I know. You sound like you've been, around. But I think that's a great influence from shout out to your parents as well.
Thank you so much.
Let them know they raised
I definitely feel
they raised a good young kid. Anyways,
definitely.
So I think we are finally coming into the dessert, and I guess for a lot of people, dessert is the main course of the meal. Is your Netflix special? Tell us a little bit about Mismatched, and the show. What is it about?
So there's a very limited things that I can reveal about it.
Yes, but that's true. I know, I understand. But tell us about the show as per previous seasons, because that's released.
Yes, so
you don't have to tell us about what's coming out. Yeah, for sure.
So it's basically a coming of an age love story, and it's very Gen Z oriented. So it started to be a love story in the first season. Then when the second season came out, it talked a lot about mental health and anxiety,
Oh,
depression,
wow.
different preferences in sexuality. And in
Mm.
Indian cinema, Indian film industry, you rarely see these kind of concepts to be made.
Yeah.
So personally, when I saw season two, I was very impressed by the topics that they talked about, because like
Mm.
as an Indian person,
Yeah.
the culture and then the ideologies that we have been passed on to are
Mm.
not very inclusive,
Yeah.
which is sad. But
Yeah.
nowadays, a lot of young people are, like learning new stuff. There's
Mm.
westernization happening, people moving. So when I moved to Canada, I also gained a lot of wider perspective in terms of sexuality,
Mm.
mental health, all that kind of stuff, which are really important
Yeah.
subjects that people need to talk about.
Yeah.
So it talked about that, and when I was personally seeing it, I was really happy that people are finally talking about it. So
Yeah.
season three is basically an expansion of uh, stories that were left behind in season two, and it brings up new characters and new uh, story tracks, which connects all of the
Got it.
buildings until now. And I
Yeah.
think it's
And
going to be very special and unique.
yeah, and I'm sure you can't spill the beans, obviously, or you don't get hired again.
Yes.
So please don't spill any
Yes.
beans. And
Yes,
I
definitely. I would
guess we
not.
just let listeners know, watch Mismatched season 1 and 2, obviously, before you go into season 3 to watch Deval, specifically to watch
Yes,
Deval, right?
definitely. And if you are a Centennial college student, go around and check my posters on the elevators, on the pamphlets,
Yeah.
the magazine covers.
I think
And you know what?
I should put your
There's an
photo up in the description so that people,
you
go hunting for Deol and
definitely,
message him on
definitely.
YouTube or Instagram and let him know, hey,
Yes,
I found your
definitely,
poster.
people. Yeah, people can do that. And interestingly, recently when I was like few months back in Canada, I
Mhm.
found my poster at a bus stop in Yonge Street. So
That's
so
okay.
it
So
was
here's
I
the
was
thing. I think you know the joke that maybe that's not the best place to be to have your photo at a bus stop.
I mean, who cares? Like coming to an international country and having your posters around downtown, like
Absolutely,
Toronto,
absolutely.
is the most successful thing you can have. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. Did you take a selfie with yourself?
I did, and it was not just a poster; it was like a digital bus stop. So it was like a
Ah,
billboard
okay.
kind of a thing. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. I'm glad Centennial could, you know, could highlight you from the theater program, and that's amazing. Something like that growing up. If it happens to any of us, it's a great confidence booster, right?
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. And can you tell us a little bit about, you know, the Netflix production in terms of, how was work on a daily basis? And, I think it was what, 3 to 4 months of production?
It was like I was there in Hyderabad for a month,
Oh,
but
just a month.
my
Okay.
overall, yeah, I was there for a month, and then I was
Mm-hmm.
shooting for like a couple of days in Bombay. So
Mm-hmm.
overall, I would say it was approximately a month of shooting in total.
Okay.
They are
Okay. So
still
not that
shooting
bad.
in other, yeah, they're still shooting. The shooting will be ending in March, April ish.
Mm-hmm. But your portions are
So
done, I guess, right?
yes, so my portions
Yeah.
are done. My portions are done.
All right.
So the experience being on set was basically you have a early call time at times. So
Mm-hmm.
I would have a pickup, like the pickup transport would be there at 6, and I would have to be there on set by 7, or I guess
Yeah.
like
Hair and
8 or
makeup,
something
eh?
like that. Yeah, hair and makeup starts. Then we have to get the costume trials done. Then once the costume is done, we have to go for hair and makeup. Then we have to get our breakfast, get ready, and then we get to chill in our vanities. That's the best part of it. And we were like a bunch of people together, so we used to play games, we used to dance on songs. order lots of coffees. So
Wow, good fun, eh?
yeah, good fun. So, and then when we go on set, we used to meet our favorite celebrities that we grew up watching. So it was the best part. It was like a dream life, living. Like it was the best experience, and like we got to travel so much,
Yeah,
and that's the best part of it. That you get to try the local food, you get to travel, you get to meet new people because like when you grow up, it's difficult to make friends. But the kind of field that I am in, I am exposed to so many new people and new experiences that it was just, now I have a new family, like every
Amazing.
new shoot that I go to, I have a new family and set of friends that I can call home.
Wow. Such encouraging words and such nice and thoughtful words. Deval, thank you so much for giving us your time to this podcast. I know we've been going for over an hour maybe, and I know it's nighttime for you. I just wanted our listeners to know that Deval is in India and I'm in Toronto, so the time difference is pretty huge. And thank you, Deval, for your time. Any last words you would like to tell our listeners, whether it's studying in Canada, whether it's about anything else that's coming up? Do you want to plug something else? What's next after this Netflix show?
I am producing my first Fringe show in Toronto. That is coming up. So that's the next big thing that I'm doing. And I got a call back from a web series that was again from Canada, Toronto. So
what? Wow,
good things
amazing.
are happening. Good things are happening on its way. And it was lovely talking to you. I was a little sleepy, but then when I started talking, like I love talking first of all. So thanks for giving me this opportunity to share my
I'm going
journey.
to hold you to that, and I'm going to invite you again once you have the Fringe up. And once you have shot the web series, because then you'll have another hour of a lot of new experiences to talk about.
Definitely, yes. I would love to come again and again and again on your show and like share my experiences. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you, Deval, and I truly wish you all the best in your endeavors. I wish you all the success. And don't forget our lowly podcast when you become famous. And to our listeners, I'll have description in. I'll post all the description of Deval. I'll post his YouTube channel, his Instagram, and Deval, if you share any of the information regarding the Fringe or the next web series, I'll also put the Netflix web series that you're currently involved in as well, so that people can go explore and wait to watch you and you only for series 3.
Definitely, that would be fantastic. And I post a lot of content about my acting journey, about new stories and new casting calls, new opportunities that people can get involved in theater, acting, direction, everything. So people can follow my Instagram, my YouTube channel and everything, and they can be posted of the work that I do.
Amazing, such positivity. And we'll end on that. Thank you, Deval. Thank you so much, and thank you to our listeners.
Thank you so much
for joining in. Thank you.
That is it for this episode of Edutalks Canada. All episodes are produced by Achuth Kesavan and TG Kutamperor. Opening theme song by Rex Banner, Goals. Be sure you subscribe to your favorite podcast platform and leave a review.